Hello, hello, hello. So I want to dive into a huge topic that, again, not many people talk about, and it's going from that transition to single to being able to be in a relationship. You know, we talk about dating and things like that, but how do you know when you're actually ready to be able to go ahead and date? And when you are ready, what steps can you take to ensure that you pick the right partner for you so you're not repeating those old patterns? So, for those of you that haven't met me before, my name's Lily Walford. I am the love and intimacy mentor here at Love with Intelligence, and I have supported thousands of people like you to be able to enjoy deeper levels of love and intimacy and enjoy long lasting relationships. So, let's talk a little bit more about what is really important to understand when it comes to your readiness to be able to date. Now, first things first, because at the end of the day, like we do need to dive into the heartbreak, past patterns, and things like that. So what we tend to find is when people have gone through breakups, it's being able to find those patterns that you might have experienced in previous relationships. What went wrong? Okay. When people are going through heartbreak, one of the main things that they tend to get stuck with in terms of their healing journey is understanding what went wrong, how they can fix it, how they can avoid those patterns again, and how they can move forward. So that's something that's really, really important. So understand your pattern. So write down what are the things that you noticed. What was your role as well that you were playing in those relationships? Because sometimes we tend to find that people tend to play a certain role in those relationships too, whether it's more of the people pleasing role, whether it's being able to be avoidant or being that anxious attachment style. What were the roles that you were finding yourself playing in those relationships, and how are you feeling inside in those relationships? We really do discount what those emotions are actually telling you in that relationship and what was actually contributing to that relationship and the reason why it ended. Because sometimes it can be that you didn't listen to your emotions enough, you didn't listen to yourself enough to be able to go, okay, something wasn't right or something wasn't working for you. It might have been that you didn't understand what you needed in a relationship, so you didn't know how to communicate it to be able to receive that. It might have been that you were just in the wrong relationship and you were with someone that was not compatible. And any of those is absolutely perfectly okay. I always say it's very rare for people to go into a relationship and meet the right one straight away, because through relationships throughout life you end up learning so much about yourself and your own needs and what you are wanting. So when you do go through that process, be really gentle with yourself. I mean, really gentle with yourself, because when you have a look at the intention of any relationship, you often find it's because you wanted to love someone and you wanted to be loved yourself. And that's not malicious, that's not manipulative, that's not anything negative. So always remind yourself, whatever happened, never to blame yourself, to give yourself compassion, to be accountable and responsible for what happened, but not to the detriment of pulling yourself down. Okay, I always say when we have a look at being accountable for what happened in a relationship, it's not to pull yourself down, but it's to be able to evolve and grow. And that's exactly what I want for you. Okay, so when you go through that process, take your time. Take as much time as you possibly can to do that, and don't avoid bits. And if it helps, sit down with a friend, talk with a friend about all these different things that may have happened. This is more about for you to be able to process, to find those open loops where it's like, okay, how could I prevent this in the future? How can I stop these patterns? And also identifying your needs when it comes to a relationship too. And we'll kind of dive a little bit more deeper, but I do really recommend diving really into that process, even if it's a friend, whether it's with me, whether it's going through one of my programs, or joining a retreat. We can really dive into those things that can really, really help you. So next, are you ready for the next bit? Because this is the bit that most people want to jump to straight away, but they tend to avoid looking at the past, and then they wonder why they've gone into the same types of relationships again and again and again. So first off, what is a relationship to you? What is, what is the ideal relationship? What does it look like? Because the thing is, what most people don't realize is a relationship looks very different to different people. Okay, a relationship might be just to have a house and assets and things like that together, and you live separate lives. Great. It might be an open relationship. It might be your cookie cutter standard, white picket fence kind of family dynamic. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's understanding what it is to you. Okay, what is important to you when it comes to a relationship and what it means to you? So, for me personally, a relationship is about being able to explore deeper levels of intimacy and love. I'm quite traditional, so I love to be able to have an exclusive relationship, and also being able to have freedom, hence the work that I do and enjoying to travel and doing all those different things too. So it's kind of getting really in tune with that and being comfortable with that, because I think when people start discovering the truth of themselves, it can be a little bit jarring. It might be like, oh, actually, actually, an open relationship sounds great to me. And you might feel a little bit worried about social conformity and things like that. It's finding what works for you and what feels good to you. Okay, that is so important, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to live your life, no one else. And the last thing you want is to be on your deathbed and go, oh, do you know what? I wish I went for that type of partner, or went for that type of relationship, or went for that type of job, or whatever that is. So the closer you can get to the truth of yourself, because I really do believe that discovering the truth of who you are is a journey. Okay, and the only way that you're going to understand more about yourself is being subjected to different experiences and different things where you can sort of say, yes, I like that, yes, I don't. A little bit like, it's not quite the same, but a little bit like trying different foods. If you try different foods, you're going to have a better understanding of what you do like, what you don't like, what recipes that you would like, and what recipes you will definitely not like. So the more you get to understand more about yourself, the better, because you can understand the type of relationship, and then more importantly, what type of partner you want to spend your life with. What attributes are super, super important to you when it comes to the right relationship? Do you want loyalty? Do you want fun? Do you want humor? Do you want in-depth conversations? Do you want to share an interest together? What do you want when it comes to the right kind of partner? What's important to you? Is it ambition? Is it loyalty? Is it honesty? Is it openness? Is it, excitement? Is it adventure? Really feel into what that is for you, because the thing is, the more in tune you are to that, the easier it is to find. A little bit like if you look at this, look at this screen right now, and I want you to notice everything that's red. And all of a sudden your eyes are going to dart straight to what's red. So I've got some red books over there, I've got a bit of red on the certificates there. You start to notice all those things a little bit more, just because I've asked you to be aware of it. And that's exactly what this process does. It's going, right, what type of partner is really important to you? What qualities, what relationship? And your mind will start to notice all those different things. And that's exactly what we want. We want you to realize, I can see that in people now. So the next thing is being able to have a look at what are your absolute deal breakers. Because what I tend to find is with a lot of people, myself included in the past, is that they don't listen to their own deal breakers. What is it that you need to be able to say an absolute freaking no to ensure that you stay within the truth of who you are? So what's an absolute no for you? It might be being with someone who takes drugs. It might be alcoholics. It might be someone who has no empathy. It might be, someone that travels all the time. It doesn't have to be anything really, really bad. It just has to be things that are not aligned to your life. So really, really take some time to think about that, because what it will do is it will help with the filter process. Excuse me. It will help with the filter process of what you're looking for, so you can get closer to what you want. What I tend to find is with dating, and when people go into dating, is they go into a scarcity mindset. They get so focused on what they don't want that they don't realize actually there's so many amazing people out there with all these amazing qualities. And it's okay if they're not someone who's right for you, but it's great to be able to talk, to interact, to explore. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be alone forever if those particular people aren't right for you. So it's being open, it's being able to enjoy the dating process and to be able to, have fun with finding out what you really, really want. Because it might be that you go on a date with someone and you realize, I really like these qualities. I didn't really think about that in a partner, and I actually want those qualities in my next partner. That's a great thing to do, even if you don't want to necessarily be with that person long term. So it's being comfortable with the journey and what dating actually is. And this is actually one of the reasons why I take time with people to be able to go, right, what are you looking for? What's really important to you? Who are you compatible with? And we actually go through something called a compatibility matrix. We go through, creating a personalized dating plan, dating strategy, where I've even had people who have gone on to meet their partner within 21 days without even using a dating app. This is how powerful this process is when you go through it right, and when you understand how to actually meet the right person and disqualify anyone who's not right for you. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about just qualifying the right people. It's also about disqualifying the wrong people too, and that's equally as important. So when we have a look at the process of doing, of going through the dating strategy, what tends to happen is when people meet their right partner. So I'm actually really excited about this. I'm actually interviewing people who have met their partners and going into their journey, where they started. And I've got some people who never had a relationship beyond 6 months, who are now, engaged, married. We've even got some love with intelligence babies and things like that too. So it's just, yeah, so freaking amazing. So that's going to be coming out soon. FYI, I'm just super excited about it. Can you tell? But it's basically being able to feel comfortable with what you want, knowing how to get it, feeling comfortable and confident in that process. Because I think that's when people tend to fall off the dating bandwagon. They tend to go, oh, do you know what? I've had enough of this app. I've had enough of experience. I've had enough of dating. I'm going to have, I'm going to have some time to myself and da. And they shut the dating process down because they assume that because they haven't met the right person or someone who's not right for them, they assume it's their fault and it's that, it's something to do with them. Versus the way that dating has evolved, because at the end of the day, it has. If you think about how much dating's changed over the last 10, 20 years, it's changed significantly. So it's about being able to adapt the way that you approach dating to be able to meet someone who is right for you. And whether that's doing that online or whether that's doing that organically, that's absolutely okay. And I tend to take my my clients through both practices because it gives them more confidence. It allows them to know that what they're doing is the right thing, and it allows them to know that they've got standards to adhere to, and they're not going to lower their standards. Especially with my support, I am ruthless. If I see something I don't like, they know about it straight away. And that's why they end up in relationships which are fantastic, which they feel so aligned with, and they end up in something that's long lasting rather than short term. So there's that process, which is super important. And again, I do that on a one-to-one basis. I also do that in our mastermind. I also do that on retreats as well, because again, it's a process that's so important. And I really do think that is the difference between why a lot of my clients are super successful to finding love, and those who do struggle, because they've got clarity, they've got confidence, they know exactly what to do, and they feel confident about their standards. They know that they're not being too picky, or they know that they feel comfortable with what they want, even when their friends turn around and say, I think you're being too picky and all this kind of stuff, because it happens. So, and then the next thing is knowing how to create a healthy relationship, because at the end of the day, tell me, literally, when you have a look at the relationships around you, tell me how many relationships you can think of where you're like, do you know what? I would love a relationship like that. I would love to share the love that these people experience together. There's probably not many. If you can count, all of them on your one hand, you're doing pretty freaking well. I'm just saying. Two hands, I don't, you've got an amazing social circle. But there's not many relationships out there that do have that, like, the it factor. Do you know what I mean? Where you can see that they both love each other. You can see it's a healthy form of love, and you can see it's natural. It's not this forced checklist or to-do list. So it's about how to look after and nurture that relationship. The reason why this stage is so important is because when we go into a new relationship, traumas can come out, patterns can come out, and emotions can come out. Loads of different things can come out, which can cause you to sabotage the relationship. It can cause you to create distance. It can cause you to feel insecure. And this is why I tend to work with people for a long basis as well, because it's supporting them through that process. If you've only had relationships where you've been talked down to and put down and, emotionally, maybe even physically, mentally abused, well, when you go into a healthy relationship, it's like, oh, it's like one of those moments like, oh, is this real? And you're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that's quite a natural thing to go through when you've gone through some negative experiences into a healthy experience. There's a lot of things that tend to come up. So it's kind of learning how to process those emotions, process those different things, so you're able to enjoy that deeper level of intimacy and trust, because that is so important. And even when it comes to trust, it's about trusting yourself. That's what most people don't talk about when it comes to trust. It's like, yes, you've got trust in a relationship, but it's also trusting yourself in the moments where you don't have that trust in a relationship. Because often, if you don't have trust in a relationship, it's a big red flag, and it's often your body going, okay, there's something majorly wrong here. You need to change this. And it's whether you trust yourself enough to be able to change it. And I know that's going to be hard hitting for a lot of people who are listening, thinking about their past relationships. Yes, we've all been there. We're all human, and at the end of the day, it's just about having compassion and, again, learning to evolve. And that's exactly what we love to do here with Love with Intelligence. So when we have a look at the whole journey, so it's having a look at the patterns, it's having a look at the dating process, it's having a look at nurturing and healing and creating just a beautiful relationship. At the end of the day, it's also, this literally is on the foundation of understanding yourself, the truth of who you are, and also really nurturing your identity so you can become who you really are. Because what we don't often talk about is the patterns and things like that have happened in the past can really shape the way that you view yourself. And this is why the healing part of this is so important. This is why, going through the process of really remembering who you are is so important. This is why really getting connected to who you are is so important. And again, this is a very deep process that we go through with our clients, because again, if you don't get that foundation right, you're not going to be able to see your patterns. You're not going to be able to know who you're compatible with. You're not going to be able to connect as deeply in a relationship, because I always say you can only connect as deeply as you are connected to yourself to someone else. Okay, so if you don't have that deep connection within yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't care about yourself, you're going to really struggle at those different stages. And again, this is one of the reasons why I really focus on these areas, because this is the difference between, a healthy relationship and not, because you can only have a healthy relationship with someone else when you've got a healthy relationship with yourself. Super, super important. Like, I literally cannot stress that enough. And again, this is one of the reasons why we focus on these things throughout all the different modalities that you can work with us through. So whether that's doing a one-to-one, program with me, whether that's going through our mastermind, our group program, which is launching this month. I'm not going to say anything, but you know, you didn't hear it from me. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing our retreats. Our retreats are freaking amazing. On so many levels. This is basically for people who kind of want that kickstart. To be able to go, right, okay, yes, you've had crap relationships, yes, you did not get the love that you want, but you're going to be in this amazing environment where you're going to be supported to be able to break those patterns. You're going to be able to have a one-to-one strategy with me, going through your personalized dating strategy, so you know exactly what to do, just like all my other clients, to be able to go on to a loving relationship. You're also going to be able to heal from previous relationships. You're going to know how to create a healthy relationship, and you're going to know exactly what to look for when it comes to creating something that's healthy, something that's loving, and more importantly, something that's right for you. Okay, because only you can say what is right for you when it comes to a relationship. So, if you are interested in joining us on any of those things, feel free to go and check them out. They're on our website. So we've got the one-to-one where you can work with me, the mastermind where you can work through the group, or if you want the real intensive, check out the retreat. It's pretty freaking cool. So just to recap, your identity, getting to the truth of who you are, looking at your dating patterns, going through the past, but understanding who is right for you, what relationship means to you, creating a dating strategy that's personalized to you to meet someone online or offline, depending on what's right for you, and then learning how to create and nurture and build a loving relationship with deeper levels of intimacy, love, and trust, and to be able to enjoy a real, honest, and genuine relationship that lasts. That's super, super important. So I'm going to drop those links below. Check them out. Sending you all so much love, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye for now.